And I have Mr. Emmanuel Asika, who is a COVID survivor.
It's a pleasure being here with you.
It's a pleasure having you. And maybe you should start with your story, actually. You know, many people have had this COVID. People are locked up in, not locked up, hospitalized in IDH. The symptoms are there, some are asymptomatic. But you went through the whole stretch of having the virus, contacting the disease, being symptomatic, being hospitalized. Tell us about your experience.
Okay.
As short as we can tell it in the little time that we have.
Exactly, because I believe it's a very long story, so I'll try and compress it.
Okay.
And obviously talk through the talking points. First thing is I thought I had malaria. Okay, so like so many people today, we thought that the disease was far away. It was not something that we could contract. So when I had a headache, when I had body pains and a fever, first thing that came to my mind was malaria. So I went to the hospital, and the doctor did confirm that it was malaria after the test. All right, but 2-3 days later, when the fever persisted and then I had diarrhea, we decided to, I decided to go back to the hospital. And then we tried to do some further tests. I think what for me is the first thing that I like to highlight is the fact that a lot of people think that this is just a respiratory disease, and then you have a cough, shortness of breath, and a fever. But I had diarrhea, and it's actually heartwarming to see that the Lagos State Ministry of Health has added that as a symptom for people to watch out for. So I did a test, and then it came out positive for COVID-19. Of course, I was shocked. At times like that, you get to, when you're faced with mortality, your perspective to life changes, and then you begin to say, what are the important things in life, and how do you refocus, and all of that. And of course, it took a while for me to get to a place of acceptance and decide that let me face this head on, and hopefully I could recover.
So when you got the result back, did you immediately then go to the IDH?
Yes, I had already been admitted in the hospital for about a week because I was dehydrated. At this point, I had what the doctor probably would elaborate further called gastroenteritis. So I was nauseous, and I was vomiting, so I couldn't take in food. And so to help me get back my fluids, I was put on a drip, and then I was hospitalized for about a week. And then after that, we did the test, and so the hospital moved me directly to the IDH, where I continued the treatment.
So how long did this whole process take?
The process of
healing, of recovery?
Oh, yes. So after I got to IDH in Yaba, I spent another 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and mine was almost a fast recovery, because I know people have spent 21 days, 40 days. I suppose that it depends on how well your body, your immune system fights and battles the disease, because obviously there's no cure at the moment. So 10 days was, relatively short.
What might you say was your greatest lesson through this whole situation?
A couple, actually. Number one, the bias against government institutions.
Yep.
I was worried as well when I had to leave a private hospital and had to move to the government facility. I thought, like most of us do, that things wouldn't be properly done there, but I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, the facility is world class. You saw also the one that was launched in Bagada. It was world class, but more importantly, they also have doctors that are true professionals, people that I always use any opportunity I get to say thank you for the absolutely amazing job that they did. So that, as well as the fact that we, most of the times, when I got out, I'm shocked to see that people still think that this is a ruse. People still don't believe that this is real, and that actually informs the choice to come out and go public and say, look, I mean, you may think that there are ghost numbers, but here is someone who is a survivor, someone who's gone through the process, someone who can be your brother, your friend, your relative, and who has come out to say this is real. Sometimes we minimize what we had to go through at the center, but it was really a gruesome experience, especially when you're at your lowest ebb, when it seems as if the disease has taken complete control of your body. But after a while, it did get better. But it's important that we keep sensitizing the people to let them know that this is real. It's easily contractable, and if we do not work together as a people, it will defeat us.
I'll ask you one last question before I go to the doctor. Were you afraid of stigmatization? Because it's obvious that some people, you know, once they say you had COVID, it's like, stay away from me. So, and some people have talked about how that's why they don't even want to say that they had it, even after they are now negative, because of the perception of even family and friends as to the fact that you had this. So, for you to come out and publicly, boldly talk about it, why were you not concerned about that in a way? Or even if you were, why have you chosen to still come and talk about it?
Yeah, so stigmatization is real. I mean, I have seen it happen to so many people. Maybe not me directly. I suppose one of the things that helps is the fact that there's a lockdown, so we don't get to interact with people for, you know, so much. But I have had some little interaction with people in my area, and maybe, again, it's because of the circle of influence and circle of friends that I have. They are well educated about the disease. And when I came out to say, look, I had this, I became a pseudo doctor because they were asking me questions about how did it go, what are the symptoms and all of that. And we've been doing that repeatedly in various platforms. I have heard just one case, a very interesting case, when a friend of mine, we did get to meet and have a conversation, and then he went back to his office and then he said, I just met with Manny. He had COVID-19 and the people took off. So secondary stigmatization, you could say, but yeah, but me directly, no, and I don't see why there should be stigmatization. Like we say, we who are recoverers, people who are recovered, should be the ones stigmatizing people who do not know their status. I mean, you don't know your status, you could reinfect me, so I should be the one keeping a distance from you. So the joke's not on me, but really on you, on them, yeah.